Hey, sixth graders, I just want to make sure that if you weren't in class today or you need a little bit of extra help, that you are able to go through the problems with me on the study guide. I know we did them in class together, but I want to do them here together too so that everybody's kind of knows what they're doing. So it'll take me maybe 10 minutes to go through this, but it should help you with your quiz, okay? So changing mixed to improper, you do the denominator times the whole number plus the numerator. So 5 times 7 is 35, plus 2 is 37 over 5, okay? 3 times 12 is 36, plus 1 is 37. Keep my denominator. 5 times 9 is 45. 45 plus 4 is 49. Keep my denominator, okay? All right, changing down here, improper to mixed. 8 goes into 62, 7 whole times. 7 times 8 is 56. To get to 62, I go 57, 58, 59, 61, 62. That's 6 left over out of 8. I could still reduce this to 3/4 because 2 goes into both of them. Okay, so 4 goes into 19 4 whole times. 4 times 4 is 16. I need 3 to get to 19, or 3 left over out of my denominator of 4. And 12 goes into 51. Well, 12 times 4 is 48. 12 times 5 is 60, so it's got to be 4 times. 48 to 51 is 3 left over out of 12. And again, I could reduce this, divide by 3, and I would get 4 1/4. Okay? So that's changing mixed to improper, improper to mixed. Now fractions, if I'm adding, just be very careful with if you're adding or subtracting, okay? What I would suggest on your test is going back through it when you're finished and look at your answers and make sure that on the adding ones you added, on the subtracting ones you subtracted, and that your answers make sense. So I find a common denominator. 5 and 7 both go into 35. I multiplied 5 times 7, so I have to multiply 4 times 7. I multiplied 7 times 5, so I had to multiply 6 times 5. Now, the denominators are the same. I can add the numerators. I get 58 over 35. Now, what's wrong with this problem is it is improper. So I'm going to say 35 goes into 58 one whole time. And what I'm going to do to figure out what I have left over is really just subtract these. If it goes in one time, then I'm literally just subtracting these two numbers to get my remainder. And it would be 23 and keep my denominator. So that's 1 and 23/35. Okay, so on 14 and 7, you need to be able to realize that 14 is your common denominator because 7 goes into 14 and it'll just make it a lot easier. You don't want to have to multiply 14 if you don't have to. If I did 7 times 2, I'm going to do 3 times 2 and I get 6/14. Now I can subtract it because I have the same denominator. 13 minus 6 is 7. Keep my denominator. Now that's not in lowest terms because 7 goes into both of these. So it's really 1/2. So that would be your answer there, okay? All right, so this one, you've got 9 tenths and 1/3. 30 is going to be your common denominator because 3 and 10 both go into 30. I multiplied 3 times 10 to get to 30, so I have to multiply the 1 times 10. I multiplied 10 times 3 to get to 30, so I have to multiply 9 by whatever I multiplied the denominator by. I'm adding. So I do 27 plus 10 is 37. Keep my denominator. And then I'm going to change it. This is improper. It's top heavy. 30 goes into 37 one whole time. 1 times 30 is 30. So I have 7 left over out of 30. Okay. And then last but not least on this page, 12 and 7. The only thing that 12 and 7 both go into, not the only thing, the first thing they go into would be 84. I just have to multiply them by each other. So if I multiply 12 by 7, I multiply 7 by 7. If I multiplied 7 times 12, I multiply 2 times 12. So I get 49 84s, and I get 24 84s. Now they have the same denominator. I can subtract them. 9 minus 4 is 5. 4 minus 2 is 2. Keep my denominator, and that is my answer. Nothing goes into 25 and 84. The only numbers that go into 25 are 5 and 1. And 1 wouldn't help me, and 5 doesn't go into 84, so that's how I know it's in the lowest terms, okay? Okay, let's do the mixed numbers. So, and this one, it's a subtraction, so if the only thing that's going to be different on some of these is that you have to do the whole numbers too, okay? So, there's a couple I have to regroup, but pretty much they're the same thing. You just got to remember to add or subtract the whole numbers. So 19 and 2, I'm going to have to multiply them by each other because the common denominator is going to be 38. So I would do 24 38ths, 19 38ths. Now they're the same denominator, so I'm going to subtract them. 24 minus 19 is 5. Keep my denominator. 7 minus 6 is 1. Okay? All right, and I didn't have to borrow. I didn't have to regroup on anything because that numerator was bigger than that numerator. This is addition. So 7 and 6 both go into 42. I multiplied 6 times 7, so I multiplied 5 times 7. I multiplied 7 times 6, so I multiplied 5 times 6. They're both 42, so now I can add them. 35 plus 30 is 65, 42s. 23 plus 15 is 38. Now, again, that's not it. That's improper. So I'm going to say 42 goes into 65 one time. I have 23 left over because 65 minus 42 is 23. 40 seconds left over. I'm going to take this number and put them together. So this is my answer. All right, this is a subtraction. So again, 9 and 12. Now, if I want to get the least common denominator, remember I said take your biggest number and do the multiples. 12 times 1 is 12, 9 doesn't go into 12. 12 times 2 is 24, 9 doesn't go into 24. 12 times 3 is 36. 9 does go into 36, so I want to use 36. It's the least amount of reducing I'm going to have to do at the end if I find the smallest common denominator. I multiplied 12 times 3, so I'm going to multiply 5 times 3. I multiplied 9 times 4 to get to 36, so I do 1 times 4. Now I have the same denominator. That numerator is bigger. I'm in luck. 15 minus 4 is 11. 36 is 16 minus 12 is 4. Okay? And remember, you can stop this and go back over it if you don't understand what I did, or just kind of watch it again to make sure you're understanding it. All right, this one's going to be a little different because I am going to have to regroup. 2/9 is definitely that's less than 1/2. That's greater than 1/2, so I know that that's smaller. So even when I get the common denominator, which in this case is going to be 45, because 9 and 5 both go into 45. If I multiply that guy by 5, 9 times 5, I have to multiply 2 times 5. I multiplied 5 by 9, so I'm going to multiply 4 by 9. Here's my problem. I cannot take 10 minus 36. You never subtract going up, right? So I cannot do 10 minus 36. So I'm going to borrow 1 from here, make that a 13, and I have to add that 1 on right here, and I'm going to add it on as 45 45ths, because any number over itself is 1. So I have my 1 I borrowed plus the 10 45ths I had. That gives me 55 45ths. Okay? And remember I said another way to do that is just kind of eliminate that step. If you do 45 plus 10, you're going to get 55 over 45. Now I can subtract them. 55 minus 36, so I get 19 45ths. I don't forget about your whole numbers. 13 minus 3 is 10. So my answer is 10 and 19 45ths. That's in lowest terms because nothing goes into 19. All right, here's my other problem. I have 7 and nothing minus 1 and 3/5. I cannot just say that 6 and 3/5. Okay, that's not how you do it. This is like 0/5. So if I borrow 1 from here and I add it on as 5 over 5 so that my denominator is the same. So all I'm doing is 6 plus 5/5 is equal to 7. So I just kind of split it up a little bit. So now I can subtract it though. So 5 minus 3 is 2/5. 6 take away 1 is 5. So my answer is 5 and 2/5. And then last but not least on this part, 1/2 plus 1/2 is 2/2, not 2/4. And you know a half of something, plus if I have a half a pizza and I have another half a pizza, I got a whole pizza. 9 plus 11 is 20. So I have 20 plus my 1 whole is 21. All right, on these last two problems, the story problems, you just have to decide if it's addition or subtraction, first of all, and then solve the problem, obviously. So this said, and this is very true, at the last vet visit, Raffy weighed 60 and 3/8 pounds, and Roscoe weighed 83 and 1/8 pound. How much heavier is Roscoe than Raffy? So if I have 83 and 1/3 minus 60 and 3/8, I'm going to find a common denominator because I have to do that on all my problems. 8 and 3 both go into 24. I multiplied 8 times 3, so I'm going to multiply 3 times 3, and I get 9 24s. Kind of ran out of room there. I multiplied 3 by 8, so I have to do multiply 1 by 8. Can I do 8, take away 9? If I have $8, can I give you 9? No. Okay, so I've got to borrow from here, make that 82. Remember I said you can do 24 plus 8 is 32 24s. Now I can subtract it because this numerator is bigger than that numerator. So 32 take away 9 is 23 over my denominator of 24. 2 minus 0 is 2. 8 minus 6 is 2. So Roscoe is 22 and 23 24s heavier than Reffy. All right. Last one, last week, Munchie Mouse, the greatest cat in the world, ate 7.5 cans of food. This week he ate 7 2/3 cans of food. How much food did he eat altogether? That means it's addition. 7 1/2 plus 7 2/3. 2 and 3 both go into 6. I did 2 times 3, so 1 times 3. I did 3 times 2 to get to 6, so 2 times 2. 3 6 plus 4 6 is 7 6. 7 plus 7 is 14. Okay, this is improper. 7 6. 6 goes into 7 one time. I have 1 left over out of 6. I'm going to add that onto my 14 whole number, and I get 15 and 1/6. Okay, so that is all. Your quiz is going to be on tomorrow. Make sure that you understand how to do all of these problems. If you need help with the subtracting, just do a bunch of practice problems, okay? It will help you immensely. Just make up some problems and work on the subtracting. The rest of it should be okay. I hope you have a great night.